team of dreamers, a happy, scrappy group of believers. So come, play a part. There's room for mistakes and messes and art. Who cares if there's not many takers? We're doing it for the makers.
Hey, you guys. Welcome to the For the Makers podcast. I'm so glad that you're here today. I am one of your co-hosts, LB, and I'm here with my other co-host,
Rachel.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
We're so excited that you're here with us this beautiful day. I hope that you are doing well. Just a little reminder who we are. The For the Makers podcast is here to inspire other artists to tell their stories. And we release our episodes every second and fourth week of the month. That's because we all know that you clap on the 2 and the 4, not on the 1 and the 3. So
I was really proud of that one. I'm not going to lie. So yes, on the 2nd and 4th Fridays of the month, we will have new podcast episodes.
Yeah, we hope that you subscribe and like them and are inspired by the conversations that we have. And today we have a very special conversation that I'm so excited about. The third member of Seated Productions, which is the production company that this podcast is through, and we do a lot of things through that we created. Miss Carly Speno is on the call today, and we are so excited to have her.
Hey, Carly.
Hey, Carls. How's it going?
Hey.
Hey.
I love your just like giggles in the background.
I know. She's like,
I couldn't keep it in.
I know.
couldn't keep it in. And first of all, I just have to say that was the first time I heard the little jingle before, but hearing it as part of the podcast gave me chills, and I love it so much. So yeah, that's so good.
Also, Rachel Gifford wrote, recorded, produced, and sang that whole thing by herself. She is a talented lady.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. I will receive.
Yeah, I was about to say, receive the compliment.
I'm going to receive the compliment.
Receive the compliment. You
Oh
deserve
my
it.
gosh. Okay, so Carly, as we just stated, you are 1/3 of Seated Productions. We three co-founded Seated Productions together in 2019.
Yeah.
And we're so excited and honored that you're our first guest on this podcast. And so I'm going to go ahead and do a little cold read of your bio. So here's my best work for you. Okay, an artist by design since the moment she experienced the magic of theater at 6 years old. This artistry has taken many shapes since then, and now it's really the curiosity and yearning for life that fuels her creative soul. Carly believes that we are all artists inherently. After experiencing the intoxicating energy of living in New York City, a part-time producer, a part-time event manager for a startup, a part-time yoga studio cleaner, and a full-time explorer, Carly decided to put all of her things into storage and find out what else was out there. These days, she works remotely as the marketing director for WinterWonderGrass Festival, as well as a freelance content writer. When she's feeling creative, she loves to write, dance, make a long, leisurely breakfast. I love that. Hang out with dogs, also love that, and spend time in the sun. Carly, welcome to the For the Makers podcast. Oh my gosh, she did just, I love it.
I was saying earlier that I really want a button that's like canned, like applause. So
I just need you to do the and like record it, and that is your button.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. We can do that.
we could totally do that.
I really
Okay,
think you
everybody, stay posted.
Stay tuned for the
Season 2.
Yeah, exactly. Season 2.
So, okay, Carly, can you explain to our listeners how you know us?
Yes, I would love to. So I met Rachel as a wee baby freshman in college. And we were in the theater department together. And I think I remember like the first couple of years we were around. I knew you, but we didn't really hang out.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe sophomore or junior year where we were on a crew together. And
yes,
what was the show?
It was
like, anyway, it's not important. But we were backstage, we were on lighting crew together, and we had the best time like doing sound checks and dancing in the booth. And we felt like we had like a really, really important job because, you know, we were like doing all the light and sound cues. So we really bonded over that. And then I remember we started like doing yoga together in the park, in the random places in between shows. And then you just grew to be like a really dear friend. But I never expected us to be living together in New York. So fast forward several years later, after we graduated, Rachel decided to move to New York with our other best friend, Faith. And then I kind of followed suit a few, maybe like a half a year later, something like that. And Rachel became my roommate in New York. So my very first NYC roommate. And since then, and then we lived together for 3.5 years, almost, maybe, 3.5 years, or 3 years maybe, because I decided to go to Brooklyn. But
to the other country.
to the other country, the other side. So that, and then LB, I met. She was a trader in college and went to
hey,
hilarious.
Watch it. Listen, I did audition for the TCU program, and I got more money going to Baylor. But
respect.
But yeah, we all, you know, have a little healthy rivalry when it comes to school.
Of course, which is as we should. But so despite her roots and, you know, where she came from, I met LB and I immediately fell in love with her. I met her through, I guess, probably through Rachel.
Yeah,
because y'all were really good friends. And it's all such a blur now, honestly. Like, I feel like I've known y'all my whole life.
I know, exactly.
But so LB and I became friends through Rachel. And I think like that was kind of our friendship for a while. And then when the pandemic hit, LB basically became our honorary third or like fourth or fifth roommate, whatever it was.
Yes.
And we like spent every waking moment together. And then obviously before that, I guess I'm getting my timelines mixed up, but before that is when we started Seated. So that's when we like all really bonded, and they're like my other halves, my other creative halves.
Yeah.
Oh. Tender.
I know, Tendy. We're all over here like, oh.
I know. Carly, we have some like throwback footage that we can share
yeah,
from our time. Oh, it was Brighton Beach Memoirs that we were on
Brighton
crew
Beach,
for.
thank you.
Yeah, and we would do like dance breaks in the sound booth, and
oh my gosh, maybe I should add that to our social media. I think I'm going to.
I think we
do
should.
it. Do it.
For real.
Hilarious.
I think I'm going to do like a little throwback Thursday.
Oh, I would
Go
love
for
that.
Yeah,
That's
we
awesome.
literally would like record ourselves
We
doing
would.
like dances backstage.
Yeah.
Oh, we were embarrassing.
Yeah.
I know.
Carly is truly, like she said, the like our other creative half. I think the pandemic was something really special for all of us because we had a very singular experience being in New York during the pandemic. But all of the photos and all of the videos and all of the things, all the walks, many walks in the park, all of those things I have and like truly cherish those memories. I have a photo.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a photo of you and Rach, and y'all are standing in the middle of our hallway just laughing. I don't even know what you guys were laughing at, but I have a photo of it that I took because I remember being like, I want to remember this moment where we have nothing to do but just be together.
Yeah.
And and so I think it definitely created a deeper relationships and deeper friendships that I'm very thankful for. Getting Tendy.
LB's over here just like crying already.
I mean, for real, you two were like my rocks during that time, and I think like that was another really, in spite of the really crazy and chaotic and uncertain time we were in. I mean, I feel like the three of us really came together and provided some stability for each other, and provided a lot of creativity in a time where we were feeling, you know, stifled. I mean, I remember we would sit around, like we would have Saturday morning pancakes and watch the Jimmy Fallon online show, and then we would like sit around listening to plays, like on like recorded plays, and write. I don't know. We were just. I love the way that we just kind of made that time so special, and I definitely couldn't have gone through without y'all.
Yeah, same. Same.
Okay, so I want to talk more about pandemic creativity, but I also want to take us back pre-pandemic to seated production starting, because we also have a lot of fun memories of sitting in crowded coffee shops and very tight spaced restaurants and just like dreaming and talking about what we wanted this little seed to grow into.
Good one.
Thank you so much. So basically, the three of us, I mean, we all moved here. So LB and I moved to New York City in 2017. And Carly, you moved in 2018. Is that right?
Yeah, 2018. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The very beginning.
Okay. So we all kind of hit a point in 2019 where we were just creatively hungry, and we were like, what do we do? Like, what can we do? And to kind of go back to, Carly, those moments of working backstage and, being on the soundboard and light board, I think we were all craving the collaboration that we had in college that, I think we all have mixed bags of college experiences and things like that. But I think there's something really pure about the collaborative experiences that happen in school and in an educational environment, because there's no pressure from the business side of things. It's all, you're just learning and growing and getting to play. And you need the other people in your cast and crew to make it, what it's going to be. And obviously, same thing happens out in the real world, but with a lot of other external pressures. And so we were just craving the, collaborative experiences. And so we sat down one day and we were like, let's just start making our own work. And so we kind of came up with our mission statement now is Seated exists to aid and produce innovative works in the performing arts that challenge audiences to connect to stories and inspire artists to tell them. And our whole thing was just wanting to connect and wanting to inspire. Mm-hmm. And so
and wanting to create, I think. I think we all were itching to just like do something,
do something. Yeah. So, Carly, do you want to talk about our first endeavor, our first play that we put on?
Yeah. So Rachel and I had a mutual friend and fellow classmate in school, Devin Berg, who is an incredible writer, incredible artist, incredible actor, singer, everything.
100%.
But
everything.
What
can't she do?
What can't she do? But her writing is really special. And she wrote a play just after we graduated, I believe. And Rachel and I were fortunate enough to be able to both read it, I think. And anyway, we shared it with LB, and we were like, we have to do this. We have to put this on somehow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so that's I think the seed, if I can, stay there. And really, that's part of the reason we named it Seated, right?
Yep.
But yeah, the seed really came from having, knowing people and having friends and just being inspired by people that were creating things that we felt like maybe they didn't have a platform. And we basically just wanted it to be out in the world. Mm-hmm, And selfishly, we also wanted to be a part of it and be able to put that into the world ourselves. So, so I remember we had a bedroom reading. We all went to Rachel's bedroom. It was me, Rach, LB, Ryan, right? And a couple
Jeff,
other folks.
And
Jeff,
Son,
that's right. And we just read the play, and we had no expectations other than let's just read it. Let's see if everyone else feels what we feel. Let's see if maybe there's something special here. And like Rachel said before, this whole process was just us dreaming, in coffee shops, in restaurants, in our apartment.
Yeah.
We were just dreaming. And so we read this play. I remember there was a really special energy and moment after we finished in that room. Mm-hmm. We all kind of just looked at each other and were like, oh no, we have to do this.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And then we just figured out a way to make it happen. And the road was very challenging and bumpy, but we did what needed to be done.
Yeah. Well, and it was such a special experience because up until that point, all of us had just been on the audition grind. All of us had all just been, you know, slugging it out. And so to be able to actually create something scrappy, happy scrappy, as Rachel wrote in our intro, but something just scrappy and, you know, it was all of us and people who kindly donated to us, like putting
Oh my gosh,
a piece of art together in RIP Shetler Studios, in a black box theater, but being able to experience it with our friends, and now not only we're friends, but now we're co-collaborators, which was so cool. And it was funny because like I started out as an actor. I was going to play Daisy, and then we had some switches happen, and we had, I transitioned into the director's seat, and then we had our friend of the podcast, Miss Sydney Kierkegaard, step in, who was insane. But just the way that everything ended up shaking out, and like your performance, Carly, was really incredible in that, as an incredible actress that she is. And then Rach really got a taste of the like producer, stage manager, literally catch-all woman that she was during that process. But that is a very, very sweet memory. And it's cool because I remember after we were done, we sold out every single show that we had. Yeah. And we were like, how are we going to fit all these people in this
LB
tiny
and I
black box?
couldn't watch the
opening.
That's
right. You guys had to like be kicked out.
We were like, we're going to break fire code, so we're just not going to watch.
Stand out here. And I think that people kept coming up to us being like, what else are you guys going to do? What else are you guys going to do? When are you going to do something else? And I think from that moment on, we were like, oh, this wasn't just a one-time thing. This is something that we want to grow and continue to water and put in sunlight and all of the things.
If you haven't noticed, we really love to play into the whole idea of planting a seed and watching it grow. Then, you know, the pandemic happened. So we had 2019 and we were making plans for 2020. We were we were starting to make moves for the next thing that we wanted to do. And then the shutdown happened in March. And it took us a whole year pretty much, well, almost a whole year to get to our next project. But I mean, during those times we did Zoom readings of plays. We did a lot of Shakespeare, which was bold,
but fun.
It was, those were long Zoom calls.
They were.
My favorite one though, I think was we did Noises Off. We read Noises Off, and
I love that
Ben
one.
Burke was so funny. I just remember that was just such a good time. Anyway, but then we were just trying to think about, you know, what can we do? I think that a lot of creatives felt during the pandemic like it felt so we felt so constrained during that time, but then also there was like this little glimmer of hope that like there's a lot of creativity that can come from feeling constrained, and like so it's like what do we do within these limits, and how are we creative within these limits? And I had been telling my sister for a long time to read this novella that Jane Austen had written. It's an epistolary novel called Lady Susan.
It's called Lady Susan.
It's called Lady Susan. I always forget in the there's a movie version of it, and it's titled something else. Anyway, it's this really funny novel. If you like Jane Austen, if you like Pride and Prejudice, you should totally read it. Yeah. Actually, no, you should watch what I'm about to tell you about.
And then go read it.
Exactly. So my sister finally read it, and I was talking to her on the phone, and she goes, Rach, I would 100% just like watch people read this because it was so funny. And I went, really? I was like, idea. So talked to LB and Carly, and we ended up creating an epistolary episodic on YouTube called Lady Susan. We didn't change the title.
Yeah.
And it was just such a fun experience. LB directed, and we did everybody, our entire cast, so each epistle, each letter was written, and it was kind of like in You've Got Mail, when Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks are like writing to each other, and like they type, and they're like also talking out loud to themselves. That was kind of the idea. Yeah. And so we all, you know, it was COVID friendly because everybody filmed on their own, and then we edited it all together, and it was just such a fun collaborative experience, even though we couldn't be in the same room.
Right.
And that was just, and I think we all learned a lot through that experience too, of just like, okay, this is what the type of work from between like stage, doing something on a stage versus like, you know, I don't think really any of us had done that much stuff when it came to something recorded for a screen. And, you know, this was like bare bones, but it was an insight.
I will say, I was just going to say, I learned a lot about video editing.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, I learned that it kills my computer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rach too, like it was cool. I'm going to brag on her a little bit. It was really cool for Suckers, Carly and I were very blessed to have her because both of us were on the creative side. And so we were, you know, I was directing, Carly was performing. So we were thinking about, you know, putting a show together on the creative end, and Rach was handling all of the, you know, all of the logistics end of sending the emails, being the stage manager, but also being the producer. So talking to the venue and helping
driving the van in the middle of Times Square.
Driving the van.
Oh my word. What a story. Yeah.
Doing all of those things, us carrying a couch, sprinting with a couch across a busy New York street
in Hell's Kitchen.
Is one of my favorite memories. Rachel sitting in the car going, go, go, go. And Carly and I running with this couch. Anyway, funny memories.
Oh my God.
But I think being able in Lady Susan, it was really cool because it was a passion project for Rachel. And so being able to see her perform and her performance, you're just an incredible actor. I will always say Rachel Gifford is magic, and I totally believe it. And so I think being able to see her do that was really, really cool. And we had some incredible other collaborators on it. Friend of the podcast, Ben Burke, Sydney Kierkegaard came in and slayed it as she normally does.
Hilarious.
Chase Ainsworth.
It's freaking Sydney Kierkegaard with her, just everybody go watch it because her moments that are spliced in between monologues is just hilarious.
It's a funny
lady. I should put it in the show notes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, oh yeah, we will.
Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes. And Evan Bertram, who's another great friend of the podcast, is incredible as Lady Susan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. So friends in that.
Yeah. It was a good time.
Yeah, and then
it was. We really proved to each other that we could do something like that, you know.
Yeah.
And after our experience of producing a live show, which honestly I don't think all three of us really knew we could pull off back then either. You know, we got the confidence first that we could at least produce something and pull it off and have people show up and have it actually run, and then another chance to just realize what would be possible and what's out there without the normal constraints of what we think it should look like.
Right, without a doubt.
Yeah,
it was a really cool experience.
Yeah.
And then we moved out of that moment in time, and from there I think, to your point, Carly, of being oh, we can actually do this. This is actually something. And even after, Carl, you moved to Brooklyn and eventually moved out of state, I think it made all of us be this is a very special thing that we have. And we want it to continue to grow, and we want it to continue to morph and change, and be open to multiple different kinds of art, whether that's film, whether that's theater, whether that's doing concerts, whatever it might be, but being able to open it up to all those different things. And so that's when we started talking about becoming an LLC. And that actually became finalized this past December. So December 2022, we are Cedar Productions LLC. That sounds so cool and official.
So official.
So official.
Fancy.
And so Rach, can you talk about kind of like what we're doing now? Like what our plan is, what we're moving forward to?
Yeah. Yeah. So Seated, I mean, again, we have always been our tagline, our hashtag, and now the title of our podcast is For the Makers, which I do have to share the story of where we came up with that.
Yes, please.
Because
please do. I love this
we
story.
love the song To Noise Making by Hosier.
Hosier, if you're listening.
Yeah. Thank you. Can you imagine? Hosier's listening to this podcast.
Why not?
Yeah. Hey, listen, we'll send it. And you know, it just, for all three of us, I think there's something that just really, it just hit our souls of just sing, like because we love it, because just for the love of it. And I think our whole vibe is really just, we love artists and we love people who are creating things and sharing it with the world. And so we really we want to be for the makers, for the people who, and we see, you know, there's all the big things, right? Like the Broadway and the Oscars, but I think there's so much good art and so many amazing creatives who are not noticed. And so we wanted to highlight these people, which is why we decided to start this podcast. And also we're just, you know, we're kind of going like project by project. LB and I have both been working on concept that LB has for Into the Woods, and putting it out there. Director extraordinaire. And you know, we're working on different projects, and Carly is, as we stated from her bio, the director. Wait, Carly, what's your title?
What? Marketing director?
Marketing director. Director of marketing. That's what I was going to say. And then I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
But she's working for the WinterWonderGrass festival. And so she's just getting amazing experience with these musicians and just in that world. And so we wanted to kind of combine all of our
loves,
experiences and loves, and just continue to champion artists. And so, you know, we've got some things in the works. What's the phrase? Some irons
in the fire. Yeah.
Oh, LB's the person who helps me with phrases.
Iron saying.
It's the Texas that comes out in me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love it. Yeah, so that's kind of what we're doing. But I do want to make sure we get to questions with Carly, because Carly is such an amazing artist
in
and
her own right,
a source truly of so many things that have inspired me. Like Carly will post a thing on Instagram and I'm like, I'm filled for the week. Like I just feel like, okay, I'm ready to go. Like Carly wrote something and I got to read it. Anyway, Carly, you know I love you. I could just
I know.
You're a friggin' soul sister.
Carly,
the feeling is mutual.
Yeah, Carly is amongst many things, she's an incredible poet. So if you ever get a chance to go to her Instagram, stalk her gram, and read all of her poetry, because she got one of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite authors is, I love good, strong words that mean something. And I think Carly, her poetry is that. Good, strong words that mean something, baby. Yes. I love it.
That's an honor. Wow. Thanks.
So true. Okay, so Carly, first question. And just so that we're setting this up for our listeners as well, we have chosen 5 questions that we will be asking each of our guests. Just to kind of guide the conversation, but also we think it's really beautiful to see how diverse these answers will be among creative people, and hoping that these answers will inspire listeners in their creativity and in their art. So with that said. Carly, what got you into the arts in the first place?
Yeah, so kind of like how you read in my bio, I was a really, really shy little kid. I am still a people pleaser and very much a people pleaser since probably I came out of the womb. But I was super shy. I just kind of did what I was supposed to do even at 6 years old. But I remember I went with my first grade class to this community theater production of Cavalcade of Broadway. And I was like, yeah, it was really interesting. I've never seen it since, I have to say. But I was totally enthralled. Like little 6-year-old Carly was like, and mind you, the shyest thing, did not talk. And I was like, oh yeah, I want to do that. So I went home. I told my mom that I wanted to audition for the next show that this community theater was putting on, which was Guys and Dolls Junior.
Yes.
And so I auditioned. I think I sang some random school kid song that my grandfather taught me actually. And it was I sang it as fast as I could, and I rushed off the stage where we were auditioning. And I was in the ensemble that show, of course. And then I just got the bug. I have to say that my community theater that I grew up doing, because I was in the exact same one from when I was 6 years old until I moved out at 18. They were really, really, yeah. I had an interest, a little bit of a different experience. And I feel like I remember a lot of kids that I, met in college or whatever, but I, grew up with this one theater company. They were my family. So I think being introduced to the arts and to theater at such a young age, and my mom was always such a champion of me, whatever I wanted to do, but especially the arts. She loves theater. She did theater herself in high school, college. I feel like she probably would have wanted to pursue it, but never did. And just, she loves it, and my grandfather, everyone was very musical. And so she was just such a champion of me my whole entire life. But, since I was really little, and she was, I have to shout her out because she was the one driving me to every single rehearsal, every single tech week, every single, poster blitz. And we would put up posters around town and advertise the show, everything. And she even was the producer of, so our community theater was called Eldorado Musical Theater. A little shout out to Eldorado Hills.
Yeah.
Come on.
But for real, they put on actually really excellent shows, and the level of professionalism is pretty special for community theater in that town. And so, yeah, I grew up doing that for, my whole childhood. I grew up in that theater, and I grew up with those people. And the director is just such a special and incredible person, and she was really hard on us, really challenging. And I mean, I feel like you guys relate, but I was such a goody-goody, all growing up. And I swear it's because of theater. I always had this sense that I was doing something for a higher purpose.
Yeah.
And because I wanted to please my director. I wanted to show up for my playmates. I wanted to, show up for the audiences. I loved it. And I loved the feeling that I got being on stage and, at the end of the show, when everyone would come up and be like, that really changed me. And, we'll get into this later with the other questions, but I really think that's what art is about, of, having people experience something and letting it change them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my introduction to the arts. And I just can't say enough good things about that experience and that theater company and those people. And that truly shaped me. That made me become who I wanted to be and what I did, that set the tone for everything. And it gave me a confidence. As I said, I was super shy. It gave me a confidence that I didn't have before. And it just helped me understand that I could be all these different people, that I didn't know were in me. And that informed so much of my childhood, and I feel like, looking back when I meet people now and, they talk about their high school experience or what they were like as a kid, I'm like, I didn't care about any of that because I just wanted to, get school over with. I was a good student because I was a people pleaser and I wanted to get good grades and I was interested in learning, but I just was so over that whole, that energy and that, what's the word I'm looking for? That environment. And I just wanted to immediately drive to, my rehearsal hall and like get lost with those. Like, those are the people that I was like, we are doing something that matters. And I didn't have the like wherewithal at that age to really understand what it was, but I was fulfilled, and so I didn't feel the need for anything else. And that is what theater taught me, like, from the beginning, was like, it's such a fulfilling and beautiful piece of my soul. And it just like set the tone again for everything.
Wow. Well, Carly, thanks so much for being on the podcast. You've pretty much just...
there it is, folks.
That was just so beautifully dictated. Yeah.
Well, and it goes directly into our second question, which is, why do you think the arts are important?
Yeah.
And I feel like you said, like,
sense of self.
Sense of self, but also allowing, the arts change people, they impact people.
Right.
They tap into, something larger than ourselves. Give us a short little kind of debrief of why you feel like the arts are important.
Yeah, exactly what you said. And I think that we all kind of come together on this, like the three of us and everyone around us. But I mean, the arts are a gateway to new ideas and new perspectives, and they're a way to show something to someone without A, screaming it at them, and B, sometimes they don't even know what they're seeing until afterwards, because they have some kind of change in their heart or in their being, and they don't really know what it is, but something happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's the power. And this is totally what I learned, in college and beyond that, and being in New York, and actually like being an audience member in these very professional, high level shows in New York City. I actually then got to be on the other side of, I've always, of course, known how I felt after watching a piece of theater or a film or, reading a book that stirred me. But just understanding the way that it really can change people and affect change without being so in your face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like it allows, it's even in our mission statement that we want to be able to challenge audiences and encourage, artists to tell stories. And I think that being able to, that's one of the beautiful things I think about art, is the fact that it makes big topics, or it makes big things approachable. And it like you said, it can...
A human.
Yeah, a human. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I was going to say, on even a smaller scale, like that's kind of the overarching scale, but just in an individual scale, like engaging in art and artistic practices and creativity, like that softens people's hearts. And that I just think that art fuels, it's like what we need to fuel the good in the world, there's nothing but good that comes out of it. So whether you're making art, whether you're just like a kid in your garage, like, painting or dancing or whatever, like it's all art. Like I really believe that.
Yeah.
That, you could be a scientist, and, some of my favorite poets and like quotes from people are people who are astrologists / poets, people who really engage in analytical thinking, but they're artists too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone has it in them. And I think if we all can tap into that space inside of us, like the world would really be a different place.
Yeah. We're created to create, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Carl, rapid fire these last 3 questions. What keeps you grounded as a human?
Well, I think the top things that come to mind are spending time alone. It's really important for me.
Yeah. Preach it.
My two introverted friends over here. And I'm like, people. Yeah, that worked out really well during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, like just like absorbing in my little bedroom space. Yeah, spending time alone for sure. Being in nature and actually being in nature, not like looking out a window, like seeing the. Especially when I just feel like I'm always on my screen lately, so that's super important. Sleep, eating really nourishing foods, like remembering to feed myself. That's huge to ground myself. Also like limiting the caffeine. That's a story for another day.
Oh yeah.
Another amen from me.
Yeah, truly.
And then connecting deeply with other humans and friends, and then shifting my perspective, like being able to do something that gets me in a different perspective. That always really grounds me.
Yeah. I love that.
Carly,
I love that.
Well stated. Jeez. Okay. Our fourth question is, what person, place, or experience has shaped you the most creatively?
Oh man, there's so many. I'll just keep it kind of short and sweet by saying, I think the biggest thing for me that has shaped my creativity is travel.
Yeah.
And also putting myself in uncomfortable situations, because they quickly become such memorable experiences, even in the midst of the discomfort. So I will say that I think, so travel goes along with this, but like moving to New York was a big part of that. Like my whole New York experience, I think we can all attest to this, was filled with, the energy is just so charged in where you guys live in that city. And, there things happen every day that are hard and that are inspiring and that are exciting and that are depressing, that like you're always filled with, and they can be overstimulating, but at the same time, if you give yourself the chance to reflect on those experiences, I think that was what fueled so much of my creativity. And I still look back on so fondly and still like pull from those experiences in those moments.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
How many countries have you been to? Do you know? Have you kept count?
I don't know.
Okay. Just a lot. She's
Maybe
a world traveler, everyone.
She truly is the traveler, THE. The.
I love what you said about getting out of being in uncomfortable spaces. Just getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, totally.
Okay. Last, but certainly not least. What book, play, or film do you think every person should read or watch?
Oh, this is hard. I was looking at this question before I came on here, and to be honest, I have short-term memory loss when it comes to books or
right? Yeah, totally.
Plays that I watch.
People are like, "What's your favorite movie?" You're like, "What's a movie?" I'm sorry.
What movie? I don't know. I have no idea. I can't think of anything. My mind just goes blank.
Yeah.
But I do have some authors and a few books that I can just rattle off. But I wanted to mention the two books that really, actually maybe three, that I read while I was living in New York that shaped my experience were The Places I Stopped on the Way Home by Meg Fee. It's a really good one for in your 20s living in New York. You don't have to be living in New York, but just in your 20s, that book is really special. And then Tiny Beautiful Things by Cheryl Strayed. That's so good. It's I think I was reflecting on my answers and I was like, I really like memoirs, I think, because then the third one I'll say is, I was reading this when I was living in Brooklyn, is Just Changed by Patti Smith. That really affected me. And everyone should read that book. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And then just people that really inspire me. Mary Oliver, always Mary Oliver. I read her so much. And Rumi. Those are some poets and philosophers. I really like Rumi, Khalil Gibran, Leo Tolstoy. But Mary Oliver is my number one.
Yeah. I love your love for Mary Oliver.
It's a true love.
It is.
It's a true love. It's a pure love.
I was just having to watch myself because you said every time you said something, I went, yeah. I'm like, Rachel, calm down.
I saw her holding it in too. I was like, you can do it.
Everything you say. Yes.
But yeah, and then I just wanted to say, because this is like a little nod to our pandemic experience. I was gonna say, like, for movies, Eat, Pray, Love, but then I was like, but just anything with Julia Roberts, especially in the 90s.
Yes.
We did go through the Julia Roberts canon.
We did.
Oh my gosh, we did.
It was wonderful.
She's just amazing. I love her.
Mona
so
Lisa
much.
Smile.
Oh,
it's so good.
I love
good.
that movie.
Yeah.
Carl, we
I have
love
a
you.
million, but
I know, right? I feel like
love you guys.
we could go on and on and on forever.
Right.
We love you so much, and we're extremely thankful for you. And, you know, you are such a vital part of this team and what Seated is, and we just are very thankful for you.
I love you guys so much, and I'm just so honored to be along this journey with you, even in just any small part. And yeah, you guys are my girls. That didn't really make sense.
Ditto.
3 peas in a pod, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ray, any final thoughts before we head out?
I don't think so. Just a thank you, Carly Speno, for being our very first guest on this podcast.
It's an honor and a joy.
Carl, where can people find you on the social medias and the interwebs?
Yeah, my personal Instagram is at Pinto_Bean. Like pinto bean, but this is bean.
Clever.
It's just still my favorite.
Yeah, and I mean, I would say that I'm not always on there because I've been trying to take breaks from social media. But also, y'all should follow WinterWonderGrass. It's a really special bluegrass festival, and I always think of Rachel because there's a group called the Winter Wonder Women that are just so epic. Musicians, artists, singers, like songwriters, everything, and I just want to like pluck Rachel and put her in the middle of them, and I really want her to do one of the shows.
I would lose my mind.
Oh, I know, you really would.
It would be amazing.
You truly would, but someday
soon.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, thank you guys so much. This was really fun.
We love you, and we can't wait to have you back soon, and hopefully in person soon. I can't wait to hug your neck.
Yes, me too. It'll be good.
Love you,
We
Carls.
love you, Carls.
Love you guys.
Thanks for listening to the For the Makers podcast. There are a few ways you can engage with us. Join our team of dreamers on Patreon for exclusive content you can't get anywhere else.
To get updates and find out more about Seated Productions, you can find us on Instagram at seated.productions or visit our website at www.seatedproductions.com. Until next time, listen well
And tell stories.